RMU Live. RMU men's basketball is going to the big dance. Find out who they'll be dancing with. More unrest in Ferguson, Missouri. We have the latest on the police shooting. In Category 5, Cyclone Pam ripped through Vanuatu, leaving thousands homeless. Next. Welcome back to RMU Live for Monday, March 16, 2015. I'm Hannah Smith.
And I'm Victoria Lomax. Here's what's happening now.
We have breaking news from just a few miles away from campus. A 2-alarm fire broke out at a home on Wingate Road in Moon Township, and reporter Dylan McKenna was one of the first to be on the scene.
Standing here just above 228 Wingate Road, where a 2-alarm house fire was reported. The owner just arrived on scene minutes ago. As you can see, this alarm is still active. See, everything's under control now. First reports say no one was inside. Everybody's okay. Owners just arrived here on scene. Everything seems to be under control. Dylan McKenna, RMU Century Media.
We'll continue to update you as this story develops. Meanwhile, the Robert Morris community is still celebrating that the Division I men's basketball team is going to the big dance. It was announced yesterday that the RMU will be taking on North Florida in one of the NCAA play-in games in Dayton, Ohio on Wednesday at 6:40 p.m. We have confirmation from Student Life that there will definitely be a bus to transport students to the game. It will depart from the Lower Soul Lot Wednesday at noon. However, students will have to buy their own tickets for $62.50. To sign up, contact the athletic office at 412-397-4949. We also know that there will be 2 watch parties of the game, one at All-Star Sports Grill in Robinson and others at Romo's and Yorktown Cafe. The game will be broadcasted on True TV, which is unfortunately not available in residence halls.
As we approach the second half of what is President Del Lomo's last full semester at Robert Morris, RMU Live's own John Fisher takes a look into the effect his absence will have on the university.
Robert Morris University president of 10 years, Gregory Del Lomo, intends to leave for Rider University in New Jersey at the end of this semester. For some, it may not be a big deal, but to every person, student, or staff, past or present, this is absolutely a big deal.
Every first-year student at Robert Morris University got to meet Dr. Del Lomo, got to speak to him about their experience. He goes to every single first-year experience class. Those things are, not only are they just wonderful information for him to gather so he can properly lead our institution, it sends this wonderful message to the students that you have a president who not only cares about you, but he's there for you and he's listening to you.
Students are only here for 4 years. Trying to form a personal relationship with 5,000 people at a time is no easy task. President Del Lomo has changed thousands of lives for over 10 years.
I see him as definitely a very personable figure for RMU. He does invite students over to his own home, so that kind of just shows his character right there. He's very personable. He really wants to get to know the students on a deeper level and really try to make RMU a better place.
Whether you are a student or faculty member, everyone has been impacted by Gregory Del Lomo. The things he accomplished, changed, altered, or amended. He changed Robert Morris University forever.
The message I give to prospective students, and particularly to parents, is we have the resources of a university and all the things we just talked about in academics, but it still feels like a small college. And everybody knows each other, we know the president, we see the president, and we have a good spirit on the campus. I went to a very small college, 1,100 students. My high school was bigger than my college. And, we had that, but we had that community feeling. And I think it's easy to lose that as you get bigger.
In 10 years, what do you think you're going to miss the most?
People, of course. I mean, the people is always what you miss the most, because I've been very fortunate, both in terms of my staff and the senior folks and the board and everything else, but the faculty and the students. And, we just created, again, this family environment here that's really sort of unique in a lot of university settings, particularly with the changing economics since 2008, when the world changed economically. It's it's tougher to run these institutions today. And it's really, it comes down to a lot, dollars and cents that really look at, you're running a business, even though it's a nonprofit. And that can create more of a callous feeling in a lot of organizations. I think it's made us stronger as a community.
The search continues for a new president at Robert Morris University. While President DeLomo has 1 month left at RMU, let's do as the slogan says and change more lives. Reporting inside the Nicholson building at the Rotunda, I'm John Fisher, RMU Century Media.
Be sure to check www.rmucenturymedia.com for all the latest updates on the presidential search.
The third installment of the Diversity Speaker Series kicks off Wednesday in the International Suite at the Soul Center. RMU alum Vibhuti Unrayal is the co-founder and president of Rukmini Foundation and will be the keynote speaker at the event. Attendees can expect to hear more about the Rukmini Foundation and Ariel's mission to help girls in Nepal gain an education. The event is sponsored by the Office of Multicultural Student Services and the Women's History Month Committee.
Going on right now in the PNC Colonial Cafe, RMU Multicultural Student Services is hosting the Red Pump Project to raise awareness for girls and women around the world affected by the HIV and AIDS epidemic. Students at RMU are encouraged to wear their favorite pair of red shoes to start the conversation. For more information, visit www.theredpumpproject.org.
The autopsy results of a St. Vincent professor that was found dead Sunday could be released today. 36-year-old Laura Wilkinson was found in a wooded area not too far from where her car was discovered Saturday in Westmoreland County. A memorial service is being planned and will be shared with the St. Vincent campus community.
UPMC Carnegie Mellon University and the University of Pittsburgh are making a long-term alliance to better analyze patient information. This project is to help doctors with detecting disease outbreaks and other health trends. The alliance, called the Pittsburgh Health Data Alliance, will include electronic health records, diagnostic imaging, prescription, and host insight into disease. All three parties are to talk more about this later today at a joint press conference.
And for everything you need to know involving RMU news, sports, and arts and entertainment, be sure to check out rmucenturymedia.com. We have more news from around the world coming up after the break. The tables have turned in Ferguson. What protests are revolving around now? And possibly one of the worst natural disasters on the Pacific coast of one country. Find out how they're coping, plus why over 1 million people took to the streets of Brazil in protest yesterday. Next.
They are the Red Sea. They need to be able to feed themselves. Penn State couldn't beat the Colonials in a game. It truly was a shame. And then Sacred Heart pioneered.
The RMU Century Media app is your mobile resource for all news Robert Morris. With access to campus news, RMU sports, and lifestyles, as well as RMU radio and RMU TV, the RMU Century Media app allows you access to all the information you need, no matter where you are. You'll have access to thousands of articles already online, and the new ones that are added daily. Download the RMU Century Media app for free today.
Hello, I'm back. How are you?
I missed you.
I missed you too. Choo choo! They're a train that keeps on rolling. Who would win in a fight, Ditka or a hurricane? I swear, each year could become a feel-good movie for the whole family. They just aren't losing. It's a shame, isn't it? Do you know how to tame a tiger? Either grow up with them or keep one as a pet like Mike Tyson.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure being by your side.
Okay.
More on settlement out of Ferguson, Missouri. A 20-year-old suspect has been charged with the shooting of 2 police during a protest this past Thursday. CNN's Elliot Davis reports.
News of the arrest is welcome news to people all across Ferguson. I talked to some of those at a pro-police rally in front of the Ferguson Police Department. People who came to show their support for law enforcement. There was cheering after some officers came out, shaking hands with those in the crowd to show their appreciation for the outpouring of support.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
What's your reaction on the announcement of an arrest?
I think that's a good thing. I mean, I hope the justice is done. That's what we want. We want justice. We want fairness for everybody here. It's not one side or another. We want justice for everybody, including the police.
Across town, others were gathered at a Ferguson church for a candidate forum for people running for the board. St. Mark's has been the site of many protest-related activities. I talked to some of the people here to get their reaction to the arrests in the shooting of the 2 officers. Reverend Tommy Pearson has been involved in the protest movement from the beginning. Reverend Pearson, your reaction to an arrest in this case?
Well, my reaction is, I'm glad to hear it, glad to know that there was an arrest made. My feeling is no one should commit such a crime and get away with it. I cannot think of anything that would justify shooting at police officers.
This man who I talked to in front of the Ferguson Police Department had a different view on things.
The shooting put a terrible pall over the whole thing, and hopefully that's been lifted a little bit. Hopefully we can go back to viewing this as a non-violent protest, a chance to offer and exchange ideas.
Well, the recent event has given more concern for safety and caused protesters to further criticize police officials for suggesting the shooting was related to them.
Sunday in Boston, another round of snow helped the city to record its snowiest season ever. Yesterday's snowfall brought Boston's total snow accumulation to 108.6 inches for the 2014-2015 winter season. The previous record was set in the winter of 1995 through 96. The new record lightens up the mood as Bostonians hope to have seen the last of the snow.
The infamous real estate heir Robert Durst has been arrested for a killing that occurred in 2000 after muttering what could be a confession into a microphone during a break in filming. Durst has been suspected of his first wife's disappearance but couldn't be convicted. HBO made a documentary series of Durst where it was picked up on microphone of him saying, quote, "killed them all." Durst's lawyer said for his comments not to be taken so seriously.
A Category 5 Cyclone Pam ripped through the Pacific archipelago of Vanuatu, leaving thousands of people in need of food and shelter. CNN's Ivan Watson reports.
It takes a view like this to give you a sense of the sheer power of the wind of Cyclone Pam when she ripped through here on Friday night, tearing trees in half and damaging nearly every building in this area. Some houses were quite simply flattened. Fortunately, residents tell me nobody in this neighborhood was hurt in this terrible storm, and that's due in large part to training and preparation.
Where was everybody on the night of the storm?
Everybody was inside the evacuation center.
This church right here?
This church building, yes.
And that was part of a plan?
Of course, that was part of the plan the training that we had, and the church is just like our main evacuation center during cyclones.
Do you think that saved lives?
Of course it did.
The church is still serving as a temporary shelter for dozens of people from this community. There is still no electricity 3 days after the storm. There's still no running water, and untold thousands and thousands of people made homeless. And a bigger problem is nobody really knows the extent of the damage or the potential loss of life on dozens of other islands of Vanuatu, one of the poorest countries in the Pacific. Ivan Watson, CNN, in Port Vila, in Vanuatu.
The Vanuatu government has declared a state of emergency and said 1.5% of the national budget would be immediately allocated for the disaster response.
Gossip surrounded Russian President Vladimir Putin since making a disappearance from the public eye on March 5th. Putin made his first appearance yesterday when he met with Kyrgyz president, which was broadcasted on television. The 62-year-old seemed well and laughed off any rumors related to his health circling the 10-day absence. No explanation of his disappearance has been issued.
In Brazil, approximately 1 million people are publicly protesting and asking for the impeachment of President Dilma Rousseff. Protesters say that she must have known about a corruption scandal in the state oil firm. Political opposition is also saying that a lot of the apparent bribery occurred while Rousseff was in charge of the company. Police estimate that 1 million gathered to protest from aerial photos taken.
Now, we have had a ton of sports news just here at Robert Morris. So, Kristen, can you tell us what else you have for us?
Well, Hannah, there's 67 other teams at the big dance too, and I'll break down everything you need to know. Jordan, what can you tell us about the weather?
Well, it's sunny and warm outside today. It's 60 degrees right now. How much warmer will it get? My full forecast coming up.
Looking for these? You drive Buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to RMU Live. I'm Kristen Kula with this week's sports wrap-up. Yesterday was Selection Sunday for the NCAA tournament, and everyone was mad with anticipation. To no surprise, both Kentucky and Duke were given the #1 seeds and will take on their opponents this Thursday and Friday. But first, their challengers must compete in play-in games to see who will face the two Titans. On Wednesday, the Robert Morris Colonials will take on North Florida at 6:40, and the winner of that game will move on to Friday where they'll face the Dukes. Going from the court to the ice, the Pittsburgh Penguins took on the Detroit Red Wings Sunday. The outcome was definitely not what the Penguins and fans wanted. The Penguins played without Evgeny Malkin, who sustained a lower body injury during his first shift in their game against Boston, and you can tell the Penguins were hurting without their teammate as Detroit was able to sail to 2-0 lead going into the first intermission. 39 seconds into the second, the Red Wings struck again, and that was the final nail in the coffin for Pittsburgh. Detroit went on to score one more in the second and again in the third. Pittsburgh was able to tally at least one goal before the buzzer, as David Perron was able to get one past Detroit's goaltender. The Penguins fell to the Red Wings with a final score of 5-1. Well, that's all the time we have left over here in sports. Now over to Jordan with the weather. Jordan?
Hey guys, so it's going to be super sunny today. It's going to be in the 60s. Don't worry about this weather today because we want to look at the 5-day forecast. And because tomorrow we have a chance of rain, but then closing out the rest of this week, it's going to be very nice, super sunny. Now these lows I think could be a little bit warmer throughout the rest of the weekend. Now we're going to probably be in the 50s by next Saturday, so enjoy the weather, and we're going to go back to the news desk.
That's all we have for RMU Live. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.